Mathematics paper 4, extended 0980/04 2020, 2 hours 30 minutes. Cambridge IGCSE, grades 9 to 1, University of Cambridge. Total mark for this paper is 130 marks. You will need geometrical instruments. This is questions number 1. A. You can press pause and have a go, and when you're ready, you come back and check your answer. Question number 1. Christian and Stephanie share some money in the ratio 3:2. Christian receives $72. Work out how much Stephanie receives. So the way I will do it, I will write Christian on one side, the 2 dots is to Stephanie. Christian is 3, Stephanie is 2. Now, if Christian gets $72, and then I ask myself, what do I multiply by 3 to get $72? Or you can do it in reverse. $72 divided by 3, it gives you 24. That means you multiply by 24. So 3 times 24 gives you 72. So you multiply by 24 on the right hand side. 2 times 24 gives you 48. So the answer is $48. That's one way to do it. Another way, you can add the total. 3 plus 2, it gives you 5. And we know Christian is 3. So 3/5 of the total, it gives you 72. And to get the total, you take times 3/5 to the right, it becomes divided by 3/5. 72 divided by 3/5 gives you 120. So the total is 120. Now Stephanie is 2/5. So you want to find 2/5 of 120. That gives you $48. That's another way to do it. 1A part 2. Christian spends 45% of his $72 on a computer game. Calculate the price of the computer game. So you do 45% over 100 times $72 times $72. It gives you $32.40. Part 3. Christian also buys a meal for $8.40. Calculate the fraction of the $72 Christian has left after buying the computer game and the meal. So it's computer game and the meal. So don't forget computer game and the meal. And then give your answer in lowest terms. So you subtract the computer game, which is £32.40. Subtract the meal, which is £8.40. You left, and you divide by 72, and your calculator will give you 13/30. That's a fraction to its lowest terms. Part 4. Stephanie buys a book in a sale for $19.20. This sale price is after a reduction of 20%. Calculate the original price of the book. This type of question is very common in exams, especially in this Cambridge IGCSE exams. You need to memorize this formula. New value is equals to original value times multiplier. When I mark the exam, students tend to forget this formula. And when they forget this formula, it makes it difficult for them now to know what else to do to answer this question. So it's good to remember this formula. That's what examiners like to see. So when we mark the exams, we like to see this formula written down. You want to get, it's a reduction of 20%. You remove 20% from 100. Everything starts at 100%. So you remove 20 from 100, you get 80%. So what they're saying to you is that 80% is £19.20. That means you've reduced by 20%. Now we change that 80%. What is the multiplier? To get the multiplier, you divide by 100, it gives you 0.8. So your new value is £19.20. Your original value, that's what you want to find. Your multiplier is 0.8. Now it's times 0.8. If you take it to the left side, it becomes divide by 0.8. So £19.20 divided by 0.8 will give you $24. So $24 was the price for the book. And if you reduce it by 20%, you will get $19.20. That's what it means. So this is question 1B. Have a go at 1B, 1C, and 1D. And press pause and have a go at these questions. And when you're ready, you come back and check your answer with my solutions. Anyway, welcome back. We look at 1B. Boris invests $550 at a rate of 2% per year, simple interest. Calculate the value of the investment at the end of 10 years. Another formula that students need to remember for this Cambridge IGCSE. This is the new GCSE for Cambridge 0980. What you need to do, the formula for simple interest is there. I equals to PRT. You need to remember that. I is the interest money created in dollars. P is the principal starting amount. P is the principal starting amount. R is the rate, the interest rate per year in decimal form. That means you will divide by 100 to put it in decimal. And T is the time the money is invested or borrowed in years. Now we want to work out the interest. We know P, the principal, is 550. The interest is 2%, but we divide by 100 to change to decimal. And it's for 10 years. So we have principal, interest, and for 10 years. You multiply that, gives you an interest of $110. Now we want to find the value for the investment. So we add, to get the value, add 550 plus the 100, because we started with 550, plus the 110. That gives you $660. For part C, Marlin invests $550 at the rate of 1.9% per year, compound interest. This is compound interest now. Calculate the value of the investment at the end of 10 years. We have here the compound interest formula. I've circled it, I put it there. It's important you memorize that compound interest formula as well. It is very, very important formula to memorize as well. So the compound interest formula is very, very important for you to remember, because you will get to use it time and time again. So we start by putting in the values. The invest principal is 550. Interest is 1.9. We divide by 100 to convert to decimal, and it's for 10 years. And that gives you 663.90. So $663.90. Part D. Hans invests $550 at a rate of X% per year, compound interest. At the end of 10 years, the value of the investment is $638.30. Correct to the nearest cent. Find the value of X. The thing with this type of question is you can first of all rearrange the formula to make X, or what we call R, the subject. So X here is what you call R, the subject, before you solve it. Or you can do it this way. $638.30 is your amount. You can see there. $550 is your principal. And then you have your 1 there. You have your X, which is the interest rate. That's what they call it. We know it's R. And N is to divide by 100 to change it to make sure it's in decimal. And 10 is the number of years, the time period. Now it's times 550 on the right. So you take it to the left, it becomes divided by 550. It's raised to the power 10 on the right. If you take it to the left, it's the 10th root. So raised to the power 10, you take it to the left, it becomes the 10th root. So you find the 10th root of that, you get 1.015. is equals to 1 plus x over 100. It's plus 1. Opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. Take that to the left, you minus 1. Is divided by 100, comes to the right, to the left, is times 100. Plus 1, it comes there, it becomes minus 1. Divide by 100, it comes to the left, it becomes times 100. And that gives you 1.50%, which is your answer. Another way to do it, I put it in blue there. First of all, make arrow the subject of the formula. How do we do that? It's times p, the principal, we take it to the left, it becomes divided by p. It's raised to the power n, take it to the left, is the n root. It's plus 1, take it to the left, it becomes minus 1. Divide by 100, we take it to the left, it becomes times 100. So that is the formula at the end. Now you substitute the values. You substitute in 10 for n. You substitute 10 for n, 638 for a, 550 for p, and put it in your calculator, and that gives you the answer of £1, $1.50. This is question number 2. You can press pause and have a go at it, and when you're ready, you come back and look at my solutions. Welcome back. Question 2a. 200 students estimate the volume V cubic meters of a classroom. The cumulative frequency diagram shows their results. So the cumulative frequency always on the y-axis, the volume on the x-axis. Use the graph to find an estimate for the median. The median is a middle number. So between 200 and 0, the middle number is 100, half of 200. So you follow on 100, you get to the cumulative frequency curve, you come down, it would be roughly, it would be at 400. So the median is 400, median volume. And this cumulative curve shape, this shape is called an ogive shape. O-G-I-V-E, an ogive shape. So that's how you get the median, 400. The next part, use the graph to find an estimate of the interquartile range. To get interquartile range, you need to find the upper quartile and the lower quartile and subtract them. So I've put in yellow the formula which you need to remember. Interquartile range is equal to the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. And to get the upper quartile, from the median to the top, we divide it into 2, so it'll be 150 in the middle. And you come down, you get the upper quartile to be 420. Upper quartile is 420. And to get the lower quartile, between 0 and 100, the middle number is 50. And you follow the green line, you come down, it will be 350. So the lower quartile is 350. Following that line, the lower quartile is 350. Now you subtract them. 420 minus 350 is 70. Part 3, the 60th percentile. So you find 60% of 100 times 200, it gives you 120. So we go at 120, and you see that blue line there. We draw the blue line, meets the ogive curve, we come down, it's around 410. So the 60th percentile is at 120. So you get to 120, and you follow that blue line, you come all the way down. The answer is 410. Part 4, the number of students who estimate that the volume is greater than 300. So we go to 300 on the x-axis, go to 300 on the x-axis where the volume is. Straight line straight to the curve, and then horizontal line to the y-axis. It gets to 30. Now, who estimated the number of students estimated volume is greater? So at 30, you want the one which is greater, above 30. So 200 minus 30 is 170. So from 300, so you want that there, which will be 170. 200 minus 30. So here's the question for part B. Part P part 1, 2, and 3. So have a go at it, and when you're ready, you come back and check the answers. Welcome back. Part 1 says calculate an estimate of the mean. You must show all your working. It's an estimate because we're not going to be using exact numbers. So we want to find the midpoint. I put it on top of the table there, the midpoint, the middle number. What's the midpoint between 20 and 60? So at 20 plus 60, it gives you 80. 20 plus 60, you get 80. And 80 divided by 2, you get 40. So the midpoint is 40. What's the midpoint between 60 and 100? 60 plus 100 is 160 divided by 2. It gives you 80. And the midpoint for 100 and 150, you will get 80. And the midpoint for 150 and 250, you will get 24. Now, to find the mean for a group data, I put the formula there on the left-hand side. That's another formula you need to remember for your exams. So it's the sum. This symbol there means sum. Add them up. Sum of f times x divided by the total, how many of them there are. So f times x, frequency is 32 and the midpoint is 40. So 32 times 40 times those two plus 64 times 80 plus the frequency 80 times 125 plus 24 times 200. That's why we have that sum there. That means you add them up. That's why we're adding them up. We divide by how many there are. There's 200 of them. And that gives you 106 meters squared. Part 2, complete the histogram to show the information in the table. To do a histogram, there's another formula again that you need to remember. Frequency density is frequency divided by class width. So you need to calculate the frequency density because that goes on the y-axis. So the frequency density is a frequency divided by class width. So let's look at for the first one. The frequency is 8. The frequency is 32. The class width is 60 minus 20 is 40. So it's 32 divided by 40 gives you 0.8. For the next one, the frequency is 64. The class width is 100 minus 60 is 40. 100 minus 60 is equals to 40. Class width is 4. That gives you 1.6. For the next one, frequency is 80. Class width is 150 minus 100, which is 50. 80 divided by 50, 1.6. The last one, frequency is 24. Class width is 250 minus 150, which is 100. That gives you 0.24. So this last one has been done for you. Between 150 and 250, they've marked it as 0.24 there. Let's mark the first one. It goes from 20 to 60. And it goes 0.8 is the frequency density, 0.8. And I'll shade that green. The next one is 60 to 100. 60 to 100. I put it in yellow there. And it goes up to 1.6. And the next one is 100 to 150. And it's still 1.6. So that's the frequency density done on the y-axis and the area on the x-axis, and it gives you a complete picture of the histogram. Part 3. 2 students are chosen at random from those students that estimated the area of the windows to be more than 100 meters squared. Find the probability that one of the 2 students estimates the area to be greater than 150 meters squared, and the other student estimates the area to be 150 meters squared or less. So I've taken an extract from the table from 100 to 150 to 250. So 80 plus 24, it gives you 104. So we want it to be, the total to be 104. Now, for those who are greater than 150, it's 24. So it's 24 over 104. So one of the student. because there's 2 students, one of them has done in there, and you left with 1 left. So 104 minus 1 is 103. So you got 103 left. And for this one, there's 80. 80 divided by 103. So you multiply them, and that gives you that 24 times 80 divided by 104 times 103. So you get 480 over 1339. Question number 3. F of x is equals to 20 over x plus x. Complete the table, and then on the grid, draw the graph. So you can press pause and have a go at it, and when you're ready, you come back and check your answer. So to complete the table, we got 5 there. You substitute the value of 5 for x. So wherever I see x, you put 5, and you will get 9. And the next one, x is 8. So you put 8 there, and you put 8 there. So you get 20 over 8 plus 8. That gives you 10.5. Now you can plot the graph now. So we have minus 10 minus 12, which is minus 10 minus 12 is that point there. Minus 8, 10.5. Minus 5, minus 9. Minus 2, 12, and minus 1.6. You mark those points and you join it with a smooth curve. And for the next side, you got 1.1, 1.6, 14.1 is that point. The next one, 2, 12, 5, 9, 8, 10.5, and 10, 12. After you mark the points, you join it with a smooth curve, and that gives you the graph. So for part C, using your graph, solve the equation f of x equals to 11. So looking at the graph, we come at this point where we have 11 there, and we draw a straight line. Where does a line meet that curve? At 2 points. And we follow that dotted blue line to the bottom. One of the answer is 2.4. Follow the dotted blue line, the other answer is 8.8. So you draw a line at f of x equals to 11, where it meets the curve in the 2 places. You follow the dotted line to the x-axis is 2.4. Follow that one is 8.8. So that's the 2 answers, 2.4 and 8.8. Part D, k is a prime number and f of x equals to k has no solution. Find the possible values of k. No solution means it does not intersect the graph. It does not touch the graph or cross the graph. It does not intersect. So I'll show you on the graph now. So on the graph, f of x equals to k is a prime number. A prime number, 2 is a prime number. And if you draw a straight line all across 2, y equals to 2, or f of x equals to 2, it does not touch that red graph. The next prime number is 3. You put the straight line, it does not touch the red graph at the top. The next prime number is 5. It does not touch the red graph at the top. The next prime number is 7. It does not touch the red graph. The next prime number is 11. 11 touches the red graph, so we don't want that one. So we want only the ones that do not touch the red graph. And that is 2, 3, 5, and 7. So you can see the answers 2, 3, 5, and 7. Part E, the gradient of the graph of y equals to f of x at the point 2, 12 is minus 4. So the gradient is coming down because it's minus 4. So it's a line that is coming down. The point is minus 4. Write down the coordinates of the other point of the graph of y equals to f of x where the gradient is minus 4. So let's go to the graph and have a look at it. If you look carefully on the graph, the first point, I've drawn it in yellow, which might be difficult to see. But if you look at this triangle there, it's coming down at that point there. And this one is also coming down. You see those 2 triangles are similar. If you work out the hypotenuse for those 2 triangles, they would be the same. And this hypotenuse there, or if you work out the gradient for that point there, the gradient there and the gradient there, it will be the same. So that point there, what's the coordinate for that point there? That's the coordinate there. -2, -12. So for part E, we'll go -2, -12. Part F, the equation f of x equals to x squared can be written x cubed plus px squared plus q equals to 0. Show that p is equals to -1 and q is equals to -2. So we have the equation. We want to make it equals to x squared. So we write that equals to x squared. Now we have x in the denominator. How do we remove the x in the denominator? We multiply by x, multiply by x, multiply by x. So this x would cancel with that. You get 20. X times x give you x squared. X squared times x, you add the powers. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. That gives you x cubed. You take x squared to the right, plus x squared to the right becomes minus x squared. Plus 20 goes to the right, becomes minus 20. So you get x cubed minus x squared minus 20. And if you compare it with the original equation, p is the number in front of x squared, which is -1. Imagine there's a 1 there, so p is -1. And q is that minus 20. Okay, still F part 2. On the grid opposite, draw the graph of y equals to x squared for -4 less than or equals to x less than or equals to 4. And use your graph, solve the equation. I'll show you how you do that on the graph. So to plot the graph of y equals to x squared, we need to work out some values. So we start at -4 and we end at 4, and we go in steps of 1. You can get them from your calculator, these values. -4 times -4 is 16. -3 times -3 is 9. -2 squared is 4. 0 squared is 0, and so on. You get the table and you plot the values. -4, so you go -4 and up to 16 is that point there. -4, 16. -3, 9. -2, 4. It should go down to 0, 0 there, not hanging up in the air. So we change this one. This one should go down to 0, 0. Can you see that there? It goes down to 0, 0. And then 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9, and 4, 16. So you mark all those points. And this is the original curve you had at the top there, which is in blue color. That's the first curve you had, which is in blue color. So we want to find out where the x cubed minus 20 and the x squared graph meet. So where does the red one meet the blue one? They meet at that point. I marked it in yellow. The red, you come down, is roughly 3.4. That's where the red curve meets the blue curve. So your answer for part 3 is 3.4. So that's the questions for C, D, E, and F. And that's question for F part 4. You can press pause and have a go, and when you're ready, you come back. So for this question, we're given the diagram shows a sketch of the graph of y equals x cubed minus x squared minus 20, where P is the point N0. So P is N0. That's where it crosses the x-axis. The x has a value and the y has is 0. So you want to solve this in your calculator. It's a cubic equation. So your x cubed, you go to solving polynomial. So the number in front of x cubed is 1. So the number for x cubed is 1, which you put in your calculator. And then for number in front of x squared is -1. There's no x, so that will be 0. And the other number is -20. And when you put in your calculator, you will get 3.09197, which you can round out to 3.1. So this is all done on your calculator.